Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you missed last episode, you're going to want to go back and watch that now. I'll put one of those cards up here. But what we're doing today is we got this car painted last week, and I've been going through de-nibbing the car, getting it wet sanded, ready for buffing and polishing. Guys, no matter how good of a painter you are, even if you're painting in a professional paint booth, you're probably going to get a few dust nibs in your paint. Of course, the fewer the better, but of course, painting out here in the shop, that's something we're going to have to contend with. So actually the car was pretty clean on the paint, but I still have to go through and get rid of some of the dust nibs. We're not doing a show quality paint job on this car, but I do want to give you guys a few tips of how to make your paint job look a lot more professional and take it to the next level from just spraying it and going. Guys, I got the already started last night. Today's Saturday and we're out here kind of finishing up. I still have some areas to do, but what I did is wet sand this. Had a little bit of a dry spray right in here, so I actually went with a 1000 and then went with 2000 wet, and then we'll take it to the buffing stage after that. And when I talk about de-nibbing, sometimes I'll take a little block, and I'll show you that here in just a second. And you can see, hopefully you guys can see this right here. Here's a good one. See if I can get this on camera. There we go. So there's a dust nib right there. So what I'll do with that is I'll actually, you can feel it, I'll actually take a little block with 1200 grit sandpaper, and then I'll go back over it with my DA and 2000 to cover that up and be ready for buff and polish. Also, another tip, when you get finished painting the car, the clear has still not completely cured. So during that time frame before your clear actually cures on the car, if you have any fish eyes, and what a fish eye is where could be dust, most of the time it's some type of something is on the surface that is kept that it creates basically a little dot, a fish eye, and the paint will kind of surround it and create a little bit of a divot. So what you can do to fix any fish eyes is walk around your car very carefully while your clear has still not cured. And you can take a little droplet. You can use a toothpick works. I've got some little, you know, you don't want to use something as big as like a Q-tip, but they also, you can pick them up at your paint shop. It's a very small touch-up brush, or toothpicks work good. You still got a little bit of clear left in your cup, and you go around, and this is, I'll show you one area where I did this at, right here. See if I can show you that. So this is an area I dropped some clear on after the fact. We had a pretty good little fisheye right here. So we'll need to block that down smooth in preparation for buffing. So this isn't going to be a full how-to video. Actually, I've got a full how-to video on how to buff and de-nib a car. And that was actually when we built the two-tone Cobra clone. And I'll put one of those cards in this video too. If you want to go back and watch a much more in-depth video. This is just going to be more a couple of tips on here, kind of take you through the process. And heck, I got Angel over here. She's going to be working on getting some trim ready today. We might get a few pieces of trim put on this car, get this thing buffed out, so you'll be able to see kind of the before and after on some of this, which is really cool, and this car is going to look amazing. Guys, I've got my water here. I put a little bit of soap in it. You know, it's always good to get your wet sandpaper, let it soak for a little while. As you can see, this is 1200 right here. I got a couple of blocks in here. And what I want to do now is de-nib those couple of areas, and then we'll go over it with the DA with the wet 2000 pad. Alright guys, so here we are. We've got this spot here where I've dripped some clear on it, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting this. It's kind of in a tough spot. It's not flat, so I have to be real careful, and I'm going to kind of keep this as flat as possible. And just like when you're blocking a car out, you want to kind of crisscross. This is 1200 grit. I can still feel it there. I don't want to get too crazy because you'd hate to sand through your clear, and always remember just how thick you put your clear on the car. This car just has 2 normal coats of clear on it. You want to focus your attention as much as possible just on the high spot of clear. I think that will work. Alrighty, I can't even, I'm actually struggling to find where I did that at. It's right in here. So that took care of that. This is not a fisheye. This is literally a dust nib. Won't take much at all to get that out of there. We've been out here working hard all day. It's actually already night and we're about to wrap it up for the day, but I kind of want to show you just what it's taken us to get to this point. And guys, if anybody ever says you can wet sand, cut, and buff a car really quickly, they're lying to you, because I'll show you kind of what I've got done up to this point today. Also, I got to show you what Angela has been working on all day. She's not one for wanting to get on film. She said, no, I'm not getting on film, but I got to go show you, because I'm going to tell you, this whole car, I couldn't have done it without her. I really couldn't have, and I'm proud of how much help she has been to me on getting this car done. So I got to show you what she's been working on all day, and let me kind of tell you what it's taken so far to get to this point on this car today. And oh my God, I wanted to finish at least a little bit of it, and I got one layer of polish on the hood. Man, it's beautiful. So just kind of recap, guys, what I've done on this car so far. Most of it I went ahead and wet sanded 2,000 and 1,000 in a couple of places, but most of it just wet sanded 2,000. We're not looking for a show quality finish on this car. It's turned out really, really nice. Everything on the car other than the roof, I have cut one time. And normally on a car I will cut twice with two different pads. Sometimes I'll start with like a lamb's wool pad, just depends on the car. This car I did use lamb wool pad, then switch over to a foam pad. And something to think about when you are doing cars, every car is different, and sometimes you need an assortment of buffers. You really do. I use a 6-inch. I use the big one. I'll show you what I use. I use an assortment of different buffers on a car, because every car has different nooks and crannies, and sometimes one buffer is not a one size fits all. So of course this is my main buffer. It's the DeWalt. I was using the lamb's wool type of pad on most of the car. Then I actually have multiple stages of pads over here with this nice little Harbor Freight buffer. This thing actually works really good. And then also I use a little handheld buffer. Where is it at? I think it's sitting over here. And then I use my handheld buffer. A lot of times I'll use this to get in all of your little creases and crevices like that. A lot of times I will box everything out with it, stuff that's kind of hard to get to. So you kind of need a few different buffers. I mean, because what happens is if you try to do everything with a big buffer, you'll end up burning through, because you'll be trying to work it too long in one spot, and those big buffers are hard to control, and you'll burn right on through that paint. So far everything looks great today, guys. I want to show you real quick. I was able to get so I went through 3 steps, and that's what I'll do. I'll cut twice, 2 different levels of pads, and then I will polish twice, 2 different levels of pads. Man, look at this hood. Woo, look at that hood right there, boys. Look at that thing. Man, that thing looks good. Oh, look at this thing. I don't know about you, but I think a pro paint job in the garage can be done, because when I look at this, and I'm going to tell you the lighting in here, I've got extremely good lighting in the shop. It will show you every little thing. And this paint job is not perfect by any means, because I'm going to tell you, we get this thing outside and get it in the sun, this thing is going to glisten. I can't wait to get this car finished. Okay, so real quick, I got to show you over here what Angela has been working on through this whole project, and it is a huge task. So these cars, they have a lot of chrome, and a lot of folks don't realize a lot of that, what you think is chrome, is actually stainless steel. And guys, I've never polished stainless steel before in my life, and it is an extremely hard metal to polish. And most of the stuff for a 2-door post is not reproduced when it comes to some of the trims. So if you'll look over here, here is just some of it, not all of it. And you'll notice this all looks dull because she's already been working on sanding all of this. she will actually take it, sometimes 220, but she'll go 320, then 400, then 600, then 800, then she'll switch over here to 1,000, then 2,000. And look at this piece right here. Looks like chrome. That's just stainless steel compared to how this looks before it gets polished. So guys, to get a piece to look like that, then you got to take it over here to the buffing wheel. We actually have a separate wheel down there below, and it's more of a cutting wheel. We'll go forward and back 3 whole times with each piece on each one of these wheels, and then have to swap the wheel out. So just to do one piece of trim is an extremely time-consuming process, but we want this car to look great. So I could not do this without her. She is killing it over here with this, and it takes a long time to get all of this trim done. So I just wanted to give my wife a shout out because she deserves it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, guys. I think this is gonna be a better video, and that way we don't get too long of a video. We'll put all the chrome and start putting the trim and getting some of the emblems on the next video, and you guys really start seeing this car transform. I just want to say it's amazing what you can accomplish. I never thought I'd be doing a total car restoration. I could not do it without my wife, and as you guys can see, it takes a team effort to get something like this done, and it is a huge undertaking, but you can do it. Guys, I'm gonna tell you, I am not, most of this stuff, I figure it out as I'm going along. I really do. I look at YouTube just like you guys do. You can do a project like this. You can, I promise you can, because if I can, and I don't know diddly about a lot of stuff, but I'll figure it out. And if you got the tenacity to figure it out, you can accomplish anything. So guys, thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs. Also subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'd really appreciate that. And guys, I'll see you on the next one.